Well, hello, guys, and welcome to another Night with Phee on the Phee Smee Network. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I do appreciate you being here. I look forward to spending about an hour with you tonight. Had a great day today. Just tried to get over a cold. I think I'm much better as far as my energy levels concerned. Not as much congestion. So I think like I tell Mark, I don't get sick. So it just had a little bit of infected juices along the way, I guess. You know, since they tell me I don't wash my I don't wash my cup enough. But I figure it's my germs. So glad to have you guys today. I want you to tell 5 people again. We are growing. Got some more subscribers today on TikTok, so we're thankful for that. Still just in a void on some of them, and I think that's because most folks now are getting all the information and entertainment on their phone. And are you going to watch YouTube on your phone? Maybe yes. I don't know, but I'm hoping you'll watch it on the TV. But again, it looks like that our streaming services on the X and the TikTok is just outperforming our YouTube. Our Facebook and Instagram is still, some of them we do 250 views, and some of them we get 4. So just trying to figure out those algorithms. But tonight I'm going to talk to you about repetition is the mother of all skills. You'll hear me talk about rep a lot. We got to rep it. We got to rep it. That's because repetition over and over and over again, doing something will eventually, no matter what level you're at, it will increase your skill set. Remember, we're supposed to be able to be better the 10th time or the 50th time or the 100th time that we do something rather than just the first time. So everybody starts as a beginner. A lot of my students, I'll get them in the first grade or the second grade. And if they stay with me, they just, their parents don't pay for college. But now if I get them in the 9th or the 10th grade and they've either grown or they've developed some skills and now they're up there and they're being looked at, then I'll tell them now, you're going to see a lot of young kids being able to do these drills faster than you. And I don't want you to worry about it because I've had that 4th grader for 4 years and I haven't had you, but this is the first time. So don't worry about that. You'll catch up and then you'll pass if you're in the 9th or 10th grade compared to a 4th grader. But the younger you give them to me, the better chances you have of not ever having to pay for college. So because my program is based on repetition. It is the mother of all skills. And when you look in business or when you look at any type of relationships, if you don't have a lot of experience in dealing with that, then you're always nervous or you're always worried. In sports, they'll say, he just couldn't do it during the game or he froze during the game. Well, a lot of times if that's the first pass he's thrown or catching in his, sophomore year of college because he didn't get to play at all his freshman year, and those lights come on and that energy's there and that play means something, a lot of times he'll drop it. And some of the best players, and no matter who they are, whether it's Willie Mays or a Mickey Mantle, they all drop fly balls and they all make mistakes. And I saw Michael Jordan down by 1 miss 2 free throws with no time left. Or maybe there's a second left. But I've seen LeBron James shoot an air ball from the free throw line. So if you play long enough, and I play golf now with a bunch of really, really good men, and one especially, if he hits a bad shot, you can tell that that's not normal for him because he's repped that swing so many times that when he just flops one or hits one in the water or hits one fat or drags the club behind it. That's just unusual for him. When Phee does that, it's just like 1 out of every 3 swings. But it used to be 3 out of 3. So I'm getting better now. If I can continue to eliminate one shot a hole, I think I can compete with all of them. But my problem is consistency. I haven't done it enough. I haven't repped it. I hadn't had any coaching. I just figure it's math and science. And if I get the swing down and the mechanics down, I think I'm, even at this age, a decent enough athlete to where I can figure it out. But repetition is the mother of all skills. So my training is based on how you do a certain amount of drills every single time you go in there. And so if they do 800 dribbling drills in the first 30 minutes after they've been there 10 times, then you can just add 10 times 800. And what you'll get is, that's right, you got it. I'm trying to help you with the math skills here, but repetition is the mother of all skills. So the more you do something, the better you should get at it. And that includes business. The first time you have a sales meeting or a sales call and you go with your sales manager, he's trying to get you comfortable in that setting to where you can actually provide the advantages of your product against the competition's product. And you've got to build value in your company and build value in your product and build value in yourself and develop those relationships. People do business with people they like. So the first time you walk in there, you might be nervous. But after you've seen 100 of them, it's just real easy. Your sales pitch is just perfect because you've done it so many times. You've figured out what works in the close with overcoming objections. And so, 90% of the folks, if you go and see them, they're going to tell you they're not ready to buy, or they're going to tell you the price is too high, or they're going to tell you they want to think about it. So all of those things, you have to overcome those objections to earn their business. And so once you've done it several times, it becomes a lot easier to you. And that's the same thing it is with relationships. Seeing these this body language and the signs that men really like or at least intrigued by a young lady, and the same thing with a girl that's actually likes a certain boy and wants him to know that. A lot of that is just getting comfortable in that setting, and once they do, and once they can recognize that, then they're not as lost. So repetition is the mother of all skills. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight, because we need to continually to rep what we're doing to get better and to get up to game speed as quickly as we possibly can. So thank you for joining us tonight on the Phee Smee Network with Night with Phee. You can join in at 9 a.m. every morning with the Phee Smee Show with Manly Mark, Monday through Friday. And then Manly Mark comes back at Midday Madness with his conspiracy theorist that just continue to amaze me that he's a lot of times he's just way off in the wilderness, and a lot of times he's just right on the mark. So he's teaching me something about things that I could care less about most of the time, and some things just are really eye-opening from others. So tonight we'll get into questions. Thank you for our questions. We did receive questions. One question today from our new website that Mark did such a good job at feesmee.com. You can always ask your questions there. I had 3 questions that I had not answered yet. So in that transfer, I hope we have some questions tomorrow, because they're still, obviously, if they haven't tuned in the last 24 to 48 hours, they don't know about that website. So we're going to continue to plug that. At some point, we're going to want to have all of the folks coming to our website. And right now, we can accommodate 50,000 pretty easy. What will happen is, what I've told Mark is, we'll have nobody, and then something will happen, and then we'll have 50,000 in a day, and at that point we're going to find out whether what we have will, when it's stressed to that nature, we'll find out if it's the right product. I've been in wireless communications since 1989, and I know that it takes what we need is servers. We need to have our own servers, and that'll fix a whole lot of problems for the future. But we're not there yet, and we're not going to be there until we get that kind of traffic. So we're trying to get ready for it. At the same time, we don't know when it's going to be, and we've got other things that we need to do. And anytime you have a long list of things, you have to prioritize them. And we've done that, and we've done a good job at that. But we have to pick and choose sometimes of how we spend our time. And right now, for the last 60 days, we've really spent a lot of time trying to get out content for a specific reason. So, again, we're going to get better because we're repping it. And the more we spend time here, we're going to get better. And the more we add it, we'll get better. And the more we figure out these algorithms, we'll get better. So whether it's sports, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, the more you do something, the better you're supposed to be at it. And a lot of these men, they like, I always say they enjoy low-hanging fruit because they don't want to go after the prize. They want to go after the easiest apple that they can pick off the tree. So as little effort as it takes most of the time. I do appreciate the questions, and we'll get into those questions tonight. Phee, you speak on quantum physics helping with medical advancements. How is that relevant to today's treatments? Barbara in New Mexico. Barbara, they've done a tremendous job with nuclear medicine. They've done a good job with the imaging. If you know your three-dimensional scans, your MRIs, all of those things have been sped up with quantum physics and quantum mechanics and quantum sequencing and quantum entanglement. You're dealing with a lot of just think of it like this, from an atom standpoint. Think of our solar system, and then think of an atom, because the nucleus of an atom and our solar system are basically the same type of rotation. You're just looking at from an atom standpoint or a subatom standpoint, you're talking small particles. And being able to move those particles or that matter in specific sequences. And quantum physics is a game to a lot of folks, and it is real serious. It's their life. You think about sports. If somebody's just eat up and that's all they want to do all the time, that's the type of people that you'll deal with on these physicists that they get a hold of a problem, and they will spend a whole lot of time trying to solve that problem. And they're all learned academians, so they're not going to take any type of shortcut to get to a specific point that they want to be. They want to go line by line, and they want to solve each and every problem along the way. And what I've told them a long time ago is you're not going to be able to know exactly where they are. So again, they'll have what they call a probability, which is they're going to make a probability of where that matter and how that matter is going to be attached at a certain time. So quantum physics is really helped and will continue to help in medicine. They've done some really, really good things, especially with drugs. The sequencing will allow them from a molecular standpoint to be able to much quicker, if they're trying to bring a drug to market, they'll be able to identify that drug and the people based on their molecular structure, how that drug affects them. And from then, they don't have to, supposedly, they don't have to have as long of a period to roll out those new therapies and those new drugs. So quantum physics is definitely here in today's treatments. You've seen it for 7 to 10 years actively. There were people doing it probably on a test basis and or other parts of the country. You'll find that a lot of other countries have different types of regulations than the United States. The United States pays for about 95% of the world's medicine. What you're paying in the United States, they're not paying that in Europe, and they're not paying that in China, and they're not paying that in India. The same exact drugs. The United States has been in their big pharma. They have they paid for most of these countries' medical technologies, and some of these hospitals and healthcare systems. I don't talk well about a lot of them, but it costs a lot of money. You're talking about sometimes $1 million, $2 million a machine, and the hospital's got 3 of them. So you can see why they're building the patients what they are. I hope that answers your question as far as today's treatments with quantum physics. I think you'll find that the interactions with the molecular structure and the proteins will give you a far greater speed and accuracy than your old. I wouldn't say analog because that would just your classic computers. So they're speeding up the time period between getting those drugs to market and actually being able to select and sequence those atoms. And I told I've got 2 brilliant daughter-in-laws, and I see one more than I do the other, but they're very, very sharp, and they've got phenomenal fathers, and their mothers are very, very intelligent. So I was asking the one that lives here, I was about 2 years ago, I said, I had to read it. What do you think these 40 physicists are doing in Europe that they will say that they will have it done by 2039? So she read it. She said, I don't have any idea. And I said, okay, well, there's 2 things in the world that have been invented or made with no application. And they split the atom. And now what these physicists are trying to do over by 2039 is to make it, bring it home to you where you can understand it from a journeyman standpoint, is if you've ever seen Star Wars or ever seen Star Trek, those spacecrafts are powered the same way what they expect to be able to do with space travel by 2039. So I don't know how many of these rockets that they're going to continue to send up there if by 2039 they actually have the spaceship, the quality, the capability of doing those type of same exact things that you would see in Star Wars or Star Trek. So that's where they're trying to get to. I don't ever think that that'll happen any more than I think you're going to have colonies on Mars. But I have been wrong before, so I might be wrong again. But quantum physics, it's increasingly recognized for its potential in drug discovery and also diagnosis. And I think that you'll find that quantum physics is made its most biggest impact would be in the diagnostics, the imaging of those MRIs and all those 3-dimensional scans. So that's where they are now with it, and they're going to continue to, just like from an analog system to a digital system, and then they went to a digital system to a digital compression system. They're going to do the same thing with quantum physics. So the quantum entanglement, once a particle starts in the same atom, no matter how far they go apart, they will always be tangled, no matter what the distance. and that is your quantum entanglement. And so, and last night I said electrons, and I meant neurons. So again, I apologize for that. I wanted to tell you that there are several. I need to get to this. There is a wave particle duality, where quantum mechanics describes how objects can exhibit both wave-like and particle-like behavior. Think of that like a solid state being taken to a liquid state, or a liquid state taken to a gas state, if that helps you as far as figuring that. For example, light can act as both a wave and a stream of particles, or photons. So, quantization, energy, momentum, and other physical properties are not continuous, but exist in discrete packets called quanta. Now, that's what I don't like, and I expressed opinions on that, is I don't like not knowing where the particles are going to go. So their momentum, their energy, the best way to say it is they're radical. That's a good term, is they're not sequenced, they're radical particles. So next is your superposition. A quantum object can exist in multiple states simultaneously until measured. Now, once they measure it, which again ought to impress a lot of people, then after they measure it, are they still simultaneous? Or do they ever become radical or ever become moved? And as far as the entanglement, I went over that with you. The two or more quantum objects can become linked together even when separated by large distances. So there is your basics on how quantum physics, I picked this out. It said, quantum entanglement connects particles instantly across galaxies, rewriting everything we know about space, time, and reality. That's what they're going to go with this. And once they continue to go out and out and out, you're not going to know whether or not what they're telling you is correct. So, again, it does not interest me. Quantum teleportation has been achieved over internet for the first time. That's very impressive. I think probably they've done that with a combination of quantum entanglement and quantum transportation or teleportation, and then also I think with the AI that they probably is why you see that. But yes, quantum physics is definitely helped with medical advancements, and I would tell you, more importantly, the best thing they've done is with diagnostics and with imaging. So thank you for the question in Barbara from New Mexico. Phee, second question. Phee, what are your thoughts on unsealing the Epstein files? Ed from Mississippi. Ed, if you'd have told me that, or if I'd have reading a newspaper or on the phone or watching television, and they would have brought up an Epstein sex trafficking conviction or arrest, I don't think I would have even read the article 3 years ago. Much less think that all of these people that are being implicated in the Epstein files. Mark is much more versed in that. He hit it on the head, and he opened my eyes a lot of ways, because what you're finding out about this Epstein file is everybody's blaming what they think Trump's involved in it because they're not releasing it. But there's the judge is from New York, and he's a Democrat, so he continues to not unseal those files. So again, I think that's misinformation. Now, who's guilty and who's not guilty? I think all of them that are affiliates, that know him, that have spent time with him, have been running the same circles with him. They're very powerful men, and they're actors, and their TV hosts and their presidents, and so I don't. I wouldn't want to implicate any of them by saying that they're guilty, but the evidence is overwhelming. Let's take, for example, Bill and Hillary Clinton. Now, Bill Clinton rode on Epstein's plane several times. He's on the logs, and a lot of times he didn't take a Secret Service with him, and there was never a good explanation for that. His wife has been funded by most of Epstein's colleagues, Hillary, and so they're really they've got to be nervous. Now, Trump definitely knew him, and they've got pictures of them together, and you've got stories that Trump turned him in to some apartment, whatever they are, when they association in cities or in condo communities. They normally have an individual there that looks over or tries to help all of the other residents try to come together as one. Obviously, most of them are volunteers, and they never enjoy it. I can't find people to do it over more than 1 year because they don't ever make anybody happy. Nobody ever calls unless they have a problem, and then they're doing all this work for free. They figured after a year, well, let's go get somebody else. But the problem you have with the Epstein files is the judges got to release them, and it's going to implicate a lot of people, whether they are actually all the way into the global sex trafficking ring, or they just were an associate. I don't know, but I did come up with an article. It said that the Clintons are not going to be able to tell their story. They are actually being sent before Congress. So that's kind of that's the deal. The flight logs are real. The sealed files are real. The victims are real, and the people responsible must be charged and tried like any other citizen. So again, Mark says nothing will happen. That they won't. There's too many powerful people involved, and it'll go away, and nothing will ever happen. So, as far as would I want them to open it? I'm against anybody that has any bad or intention against children. I think my Lord's very clear in the basic instructions before leaving Earth that the shedding of innocent blood is not something that He's going to put up with. So you've got a whole lot of problems with the Epstein files that I would not have. I just glossed right over it, and now he keeps me updated on it, and he likes being right, and so I think that's I'm glad he's right in a lot of ways, because he's on the edge on a lot of ways too. So what I think they should be unsealed, and I think justice should be done for those children and their parents and closure. That's what I think. Do I think that they will be unsealed? Mark says no, and I'll support him because I, again, don't have a lot of reps in that arena. So next question, Phee, why do men treat Phee, why do men treat you one way at the start of a relationship and another way after they have started dating you in a committed relationship? Tamara in Utah. That's a good question, but I think it's not only men. I think it's a combination of men and women. It's part of our human culture. A lot of times now people just pick up a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife until something else can come along that's better. And so I don't see the same long-term commitment. But a lot of men, they will chase a woman, and as long as she says no and no and no, that's all they got on their mind. But once she says yes, and it's not a chase anymore, it's a relationship, then they get either lazy or they get into a rut. they become not as interested. The level of interest is not as high. Uh, so I think that's a personal issue from our culture, number one. But men and women are different, and they're built different. They think different, and they mask their emotions differently. So I think what you should do is, if you have a relationship and you finally get to the point where it's a committed relationship, number one, I think you should honor that commitment, and number two, I think you should try to get to the point where you're trying to make it work, rather than looking for reasons that it doesn't work. And so, momentum is very important in relationships. You go through a tough season. It amazed me that people with terminally ill children, and they're at the Children's Hospital or at St. Jude, or at the Shriners, or they might go 2-3 years with a 4 or 5-year-old with bone cancer or leukemia, or just all kinds of terrible, terrible diseases that we have the ability to cure, and they go through such turmoil. Can you imagine just thinking you're going to lose that child on a daily basis? You feel so hopeless. You don't feel like you can do anything unless you actually are educated enough, and at that point, then you're fighting, and that's never good to be trying to. You don't have any confidence in who's treating your daughter. You don't have any ability to help in that from a legal standpoint. So that's it. It amazes me that once that child is healthy or have cured, within 2 years after that baby or that child is healed, 40% of those folks divorce. See, that I think just the opposite. I think that would bring me and my wife so close together that we would be on the same team, so bonded to achieve one goal. And what you find is during the time, the struggles, the pains, the emotions that are going through your mind, that just wear you out and put you on DEFCON 4 for a continually long period of time. And then all of a sudden, everything's worked in your favor. See, I get it if the baby dies and the resentment, and every time that I look at you, I think of the baby we lost, or every time I look at you, I think of the baby we lost. I can see that more, but I can't see a great success, a healing, and a child being so excited, and then within 2 years, you got 4 out of 10 of them divorcing. It's less than the national rate, but I don't even think it would. I didn't think it'd be 5 or 10%. See, so relationships are difficult for people, and it's hard for the other party in the relationship to know how committed they are, because they can mask their emotions, and sometimes all they want is one thing, and once they get that one thing, then that's a conquering mentality. They move on to the next one. And that happens with both men and women. And so you'll find that relationships, they do change. That first one, you're auditioning, that first date and getting together, and then the anticipation and all the excitement of it being new, and there's just nothing that you can think that he does wrong or that she does wrong. It's just a match made in heaven. And within 6 months, all of a sudden, then you know the faults. You know the all of the things that they do that they weren't doing when they were trying to impress you. So once you've been married 5 years, a lot of times the men don't get up out of the bed and go to the bathroom to poot. They just poot in the bed, and that really bothers a lot of women. And some of them, they're pooting with him. So the relationship changes, and during that time from a flirting, exciting, not knowing what's going on, and to a situation to where it takes work. See, well, believe it or not, a good relationship takes two committed people to make it work, because you're not always going to have a good day. And when your spouse has a good day and you have a bad one, that kind of cools off the emotions. It's like I used to tell folks, I've got 4 children, and if 3 of my children are having a really, really good day and one of them's having a bad day, I'm focused on the one that's having a bad day. So even if I've got 75% of my kids happy as can be, I'm worried about the one that's not. And or I've got to take care of the one that's sick. Or it's tough to have a good day, is what I would say. Sometimes it's just tough to have a good day, because you can have so many good days in so many different areas. But if just one area you don't have the right attitude, it affects the relationship. And most people take it out on the person that they're with the most, they spend the most time with, they're the most comfortable with. And so that relationship changes, the communication changes, the excitement sometimes changes. And if you can look at it like the parable of the seeds, only one of those 4 stuck. So some of them was really fired up at first, and then they just didn't have any roots. And some of them just blown away right off the bat because they didn't land on any fertile ground. So it's the same thing with relationships. It's not easy, but it's the greatest thing if you find a mate that you are very, very cohesive with, and have the same type of energy and like to do the same things and get excited. And the most important thing is to make your mate or your spouse the happiest that you can make them be. And a lot of times that's, if they have a bad attitude, you've got to try to adjust that attitude without making them upset. And if they have a great attitude, some people can be happy with very little, and some people can't be happy with everything. I've seen them driving a $100,000 car, living in the $1 million homes, just got everybody's healthy, and they're just miserable. And that a lot of people like to be miserable, and that's easier for them. But in relationships, men get lazy, and women they tend to not behave as well when they don't think that their man is interested in them anymore. You need to make sure you put her first and foremost in that portion of your life. I know you might work 60 hours a week, and you might have a divorce with 3 kids or 2 kids. So there's a limited amount of time that you can spend developing that relationship. So you're right, the relationships do change. Why do men treat you one way at the start of a relationship and another way after they have started dating you in a committed relationship? It's a new adventure when you start, and it's work before it's over. I guess that's the best way I can say it. And thank you for your question, Tamara in Utah. I don't know which one it is, but I like the spelling of the name, Tamara from Utah. Next question here is, Phee, can you explain the angels in the Euphrates River that you say kills a third of mankind? Mark from Texas. Yes, I can, Mark. That is Revelations 9. And I marked Revelations 9. I try to get in here 5 or 6 minutes before I go on the air, and then make sure everything that Mark has set up for me that I wouldn't mess up. Hey, Jerry, I'm glad that you're tuning in, stud puppy. I appreciate your interest. Mark loves you, Jerry. He talks about you every day. You know what he says when he gets here in the morning? You think Jerry will be showing up today? I mean, I'm like, Mark, at some point you're going to have, 300,000 people looking at you. I don't think that you're going to just pick out 100 of them. He says, I'm always going to pick out Jerry. So you are right now, Jerry, his main man, and I certainly appreciate everything that you give him. A lot of confidence, and I appreciate you. I tease him a lot. He doesn't care anything about me. I say, Jerry doesn't care anything about Phee. He cares about you, Mark. But he says, no, Jerry cares about you. So anyway, Revelations chapter 9. Remember I told you guys about the trumpets that have sounded. And I had a question about the seals and the vials. But the five trumpets, again, World War One was the first trumpet. World War Two was the second trumpet. World War Three was the Wormwood Chernobyl. World War Four was the Berlin Wall, or the industrial of speeding up time. I would tell you it's the Berlin Wall. And of course number five is Saddam Hussein, that set the oil wells on fire, and you couldn't see the sun or the moon for 3 days, and grass would not grow back on that. So now we're going to the sixth trumpet, and that starts in Revelations 9, verse 13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, Loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Now, no matter what version you go to, this is the King James, the New King James, a lot of them say a third of mankind. A lot of them will say a third of man. This one says slays, is the term that our boy used in the 16th century, King James. He said, when loosed the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. So there's where you get your Revelations and your Euphrates River, and that is the sixth trumpet war. He says sixth angel, but that is the sixth trumpet war, which is World War III, and it kills a third of mankind. So remember, when my archangel Michael defeats Satan, those angels will be loosed, and some people think they're already loosed. Again, what happens in the timing? It's like I tell people, you're telling me in the 8th grade I need to know a date of what day World War II ended. And everybody, to take the test, they have to know the date. What you don't know is that World War II ended 2 weeks before they signed the end of World War II. Those things tend to, if I make a deal with somebody and I get a letter of intent, before I close that deal, things have to be met. So they might surrender one day, and what normally happens if it's a leader, he's trying to get his family members as much money, much treasures as he can moved, and even if he dies, he's trying to protect the people that are his family or surrounded, that are important to him. So those are the type things that when they say World War II ended on this date, you can pretty much think that World War II ended 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks before then, and they had to get to the close or to the signing of those war papers. A lot of it's called treaties, but they have other different names based on the war. So I think a lot of people think that with this Israel-Iran 12-day war that those angels were loosed, and it's a matter of time before World War III starts. I again don't know. I just know World War III is coming because I've seen it, and I know it kills a third of mankind. So it's a combination of nuclear wars, biological war, all kinds of pestilence, and it's amazing when you think about 2.7 billion people being gone. I don't think they'll worry about a lot of overpopulation of the earth at that point. So there's your question about a third of mankind being killed, right? And that's the question about the 4 angels being loosed in the great river Euphrates to kill a third of mankind. And that is in Revelations 9, if you would like to read that. It ties in very well with the one world government, one world religion beast, because that World War III will then, in my opinion, it will bring up the power of the man who will become the Antichrist. He will be a great peacemaker, and he'll come up on a platform of doing great things, and he's got to do some wonderful things in order to get a lot of people, the whole world pretty much, except Jordan and the United States and Israel, on his side. So you can expect him to be very flamboyant, very authoritative, very good-looking, very charismatic. I don't see him being a little pencil eraser type dude. I think he'll be a very strong, worthy opponent to any of the people that are living on this earth. My Lord, he'll mop the floor with him. So that's what'll happen. But Revelations 9, when those 4 angels are loosed in the great river Euphrates, they will kill a third of mankind, and I don't think it'll take too long to do it. That's what scares me. I saw World War III in my vision. I did not see a peace plan, and it is biblical, and it is going to happen. And that's how they build that third temple. That's how they have shared a Temple Mount. That's how they do the daily sacrifices. And that's why my Lord in Matthew 24 says when the desolation of abomination takes place in the third temple, as told by Daniel the prophet, then you says don't even go back to your house and get your stuff. So that's Jesus. And he doesn't mix a lot of words when it comes to Matthew 24, and I think I would believe Jesus. So thank you for that question tonight, as far as the Euphrates River is concerned and the killing of 1/3 of mankind. Mark in Texas. Back to our repetition is the mother of all skills. You'll find in sports drills, in business deals, and in love relationship, you're going to find that the more you do something, the better you ought to be at it. And so we have to train ourselves. We have to mentally condition ourselves in a positive manner. This Man in the Mirror, this daily devotional, I'm hoping that it will become a big hit just for you to be able to get in the mirror in the morning, whether you're putting your makeup on, whether you're drying your hair, whatever you're doing, brushing your teeth, you ought to have a minute to a minute and a half to hit that and renew your spirit for that day and make my Lord a priority to you. And I'm going to try to coach you, and I'm going to try to bring some energy and effort and some positivity to every start of your day. And a lot of you are going to fail a lot, because the more you're aware of what you're doing, the more you're going to realize that you're not doing it the right way, or you've got some priorities that you're going to have to adjust. That's what I found. I found that I can do anything 2 or 3 days in a row. That's not a problem. But then if something alters that momentum, you have a sequence of what you do, and you have a daily routine of what you do. And what I'm trying to do is add one thing to it that you can actually focus on while you're doing things to get ready in the morning to either go to work or to take your kids to school or whatever it is. You need to have that time to renew your spirit. I used to do my daily bread. I would read it to my kids in the morning, and it wasn't, it was 2 paragraphs, and I probably should have done a lot more than that, but I didn't. I look at it now, and how I failed my children, and I didn't put enough emphasis on. I was excited when they accepted my Lord as their Savior and their Lord and Savior. I thought that was a good thing. Now I really should have spent more time drilling in and learning more about my beliefs, and rather than just moving from one generation to the next and thinking I did a good job. So that's something that's bothered me in the last 2 years. So I should have done a better job there, but I did make an effort. Some people, if they make an effort and it doesn't work out, or they could have done it better, that's why they say that grandparents are so important, because they don't make the same mistakes as they did with their children with the next one, because they've already repped it. They've already been in that situation before and know how to handle it better. So repetition is the mother of all skills in all walks of life. And I know a lot of salesmen that they can do their job in their sleep because they've been doing it for 15 years. And they know how to handle every situation. They know when the product doesn't get there on time, or when they get the call from the irate customer. They've had 50 of those or 20 of those. And so they handle it a much better way than the first time they get the call, which panics them and it makes them scared. And then they're getting on the phone trying to find out what's going on. And they're in a rush because they've never been in that situation before. And same thing with my vision. I'd been, I've had great experiences with my Lord, but nothing being moved into the Spirit like that. That was first, and the fear got on me real quick that I thought, I got to get this done now. And I was in a hurry. It took me 12 days before I realized that I don't have to be in a hurry. I can chill, and I can work, and I can really figure out what's going on, and that's what I've done. And so it's important that you realize that even if you're not very good at what you're doing right now, if you'll put in the time and the effort to get better, to make it a priority. I tell my students, there's no reason for your parents to ever pay me if you don't want to be here. There's always times where you can see their energy might be low, or that they can't be at the same equilibrium at all the time. But you can. I've had them. I've been doing this a long time. I've had them. Their parents drop them off, walk them in, and when their parents leave, they go to the bathroom. And if I don't go in there and get them, they'll be in there 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And so they're hiding. They don't want to come out. And most of the time, that's because they can't do the drills as well as the other students, so they feel bad. But if they'll give me an opportunity, I can design any drills from the little boy that can't dribble at all. I'll call it around the world right and around the world left. I'll have him put the ball, just never dribble it, just put it around his legs, just to start them at a very elementary level to get them comfortable. But when they see, the Gatorade Player of the Year doing two-ball drills as fast as they can run backwards, it intimidates them. And if they don't want to be there, they never get any better, and then that makes me look bad because they're hiding in the bathroom. So, after about a month and a half, I just told the lady, and it was the grandmother, I told the lady, I said, he doesn't really want to be here. And so there's no reason you paying me for him to be here because this is not something that he wants to do. And so she called me afterwards and said, you're right. He doesn't like it, and we're going to stop going. But I could have gone on, another 7 months with him hiding in the bathroom. But that's not what I'm all about. What I'm all about is when those folks come in there, when those parents come in there, and they see them from the first day to the 10th day to the 50th day to the 100th day, that they're absolutely amazed and overjoyed with the progress. So at that age, you can take somebody that can barely dribble, and you give me 2 years with them, and they'll be the best on their team. And if you give me some athleticism at that age, they'll be the best in the city. So that's the way repetition works. You're just building blocks, building blocks, building blocks, building blocks, building blocks over and over and over again. You just like a saw, a table saw. You just the motion of that saw, and you start slow, and you do it as much as you can over and over and over, and before long, you get faster and faster and faster. Because remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to develop a skill set to where when it's game time, you have practiced at game speed. No sense in doesn't do you any good if you're dribbling down half speed by yourself and making a layup to when somebody's running full speed, when you're running full speed, trying to block that layup, block that shot for you to throw it over the goal because you're not used to running that fast with somebody right beside you, your heart's beating, and you just, it just takes reps. And people get comfortable. And anything you do that's new, you're going to have some hesitation. You're going to have a little uneasiness. So it's not the way you start, it's the way you finish. And the way you do that is by repping that skill set, no matter what you're doing. So I hope you guys have learned something tonight. I do appreciate you tuning in to Night with Phee. We're going to have a great day. My travel schedule is still up in the air. I had basketball practice tonight. I told them I would let them know as soon as I know when we will have it later on this week. So if we can do the old road trip with Phee, we need to get after that as quick as possible. So thank you guys again for tuning in to Night with Phee. Tune into the Phee Smee Network. Go to feesmee.com. Let's rock and roll with this and nickel and dime with this stuff. And remember, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing. Night.